Hi everyone, Autumn here from Studio 23, coming to you live from my dining room. We're doing this in my dining room. So we're gonna give this a go. This isn't something we normally do live, but we really just want to make sure that we're keeping the arts relevant in the Great Lakes Bay region. And one of the ways that we thought we could do this is by offering a free sip and swirl to you while you are stuck in your homes. So as such, because it is live coming from my home, you might hear people coming or going, and you might hear my dogs bark here or there, but otherwise I think we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna be painting this right here, Life Up North Life. This is the example that we're going to be doing exclusively for our free sip and swirl today. Now, as far as materials go, I only had small little 11 by 14 canvas boards on hand. If you have canvas, that's great, but if you don't and there's something else that you could paint on, even if it's paper, you know, that's great. Just get creative with it. One of my friends told me she was going to watch along and she was going to paint on an old pan, on the back of an old pan, so she could hang it up in her cabin when she was all done, and I thought that was a pretty clever idea. So anyways, and as far as the rest of the supplies go, you're going to want a hair dryer. Any old hair dryer will do. This is going to help expedite the process and dry stuff for us quicker than normal. You're gonna want something like a paper plate or something to put your paint on. I happen to have paper that's made specifically for that, palette paper. If you do, great. And if not, that's okay. Just anything, paper plate, anything will do. You're gonna want paper towel. If you're anything like me, you're gonna get a little messy, and you know that's part of the fun. So paper towel, you're gonna want some kind of small container with water to clean your brushes. Many times I will clean my brushes between colors, especially if I don't want them to blend at all. So make sure you have that. I have some paints that I use as an artist, but you can easily use craft paints for this. I don't think it'd be a problem at all, but I will show you the colors I have. I'm using burnt umber, but brown, any brown will do. White, you're definitely going to want white. Let's see. I have a cad red, but it's really just a warm red color. But honestly, I think with what we're painting, I think any red you have will do. And looks like I have a yellow and a blue and a green. So those are the colors you're going to want. If you don't have those colors, you know, you could always do it old school and mix, right? This is a great time to think back to when you were younger and, oh man, how do I make this color? You know, what do I need to mix together to make this color? And see what you can do. I will try to answer as many questions as I can while I'm painting. I might not catch them all right away, but I'll do my best. And then as far as brushes go, I tried to keep this pretty simple because you know, a lot of people may not have all the brushes just laying around that an artist would have. So I think I used 3 brushes for this, and honestly, you could get away with 2. And this is just like a medium size. This is a 10. I don't know if that helps you at all, but it's a filbert style brush. And then this is just like a liner brush, a really thin liner brush. So I'm going to try and do all of this with just these 2 brushes, just so you know it can be done, right? So, to get stuff started, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to scooch this closer for you so you can see a little bit better. And we're going to switch this around because I'm a lefty. So, let's do it like this. All right, so we can kind of keep the example, maybe. I'll try and keep the example in the picture as much as possible while you can still see what I'm painting. And if I need to move stuff around a little bit, I can do that too. But for right now, we'll try like this and we'll see what we can do. So to start with, you're going to take your paper plate or your palette paper, whatever you have, and you're going to start putting some paint on here so we can start painting. To start with, whenever we do a sip and swirl, we always start with the background colors and then we move up and we do the foreground. So for us, that would be this gray and blue and then this green color right here. And as you can see, it's kind of almost separated into thirds, the gray being up here, this mid-tone blue, and then this kind of paler green down here. So we got our paper. We're gonna get some colors on our plate. We're gonna do some blue. So basically you're gonna wanna put some blue, some green, some yellow, some brown, and black and white. So let's start by getting all of our paint on your plate. I think everything minus the red. So let's see. So I'm gonna get some blue up here. And you don't need a lot to start with because you can always add. Got some yellow. Little phthalo green. Some brown. And I'm trying to keep this spread out because I have a really messy palette when I paint. I'm just, I guess, a messy person sometimes. So I like to spread my colors out because I'll mix my colors right on my palette. So I'll put a little black down here. And then we're gonna add the white. Now you probably have a squeezable white. I go through a lot of white, so I have to scoop mine out with a palette knife. Let's get a good amount. All right, so that is what my palette looks like. So if you, like I said, you have a plate or something to get your paint on, you're gonna want blue, yellow, green, brown, white, and black to start with, okay? All right. So we're gonna start with our background, like I said. So we're gonna use this medium size brush, or whatever medium size brush you have. I like to get mine in the water first a little bit. Not soaking wet, but just a little wet. And then I wanna start making this gray color. So it's gonna be more white than black. We're gonna go real easy on the black, but we're gonna scoop up some white. Tiny bit of black. Start mixing it in. Now I would normally mix this with a palette knife, but for the sake of only having two hands, unfortunately, we're just gonna go for it like this. So if you can see, I have this really pale gray color. And yours isn't gonna be exactly like mine, and that's fine. That's actually better, because then you're gonna have your little creative flourishes come through, and that's gonna make it even better, right? So we got our light gray going. We're gonna start, and if you think of this canvas, which by the way, I wanna mention that we want it portrait, right? So probably not landscape, we want it portrait. It's probably important to mention. So we wanna separate it, and if you can kind of think of it in thirds, 1, 2, 3, this area up here, we wanna have that light gray color. So I'm just gonna start going for it. I'm gonna throw my paint right on there. It doesn't have to be super precise and super careful. As long as I'm covering the canvas, that's all I'm really worried about. Because remember, this is our background. So you are gonna see some of it, but I mean, if you look at the original, you see some of the gray here, a little bit over here, not too much, right? But the reason why we're painting the whole thing is because when you get paint down, it really gives the other paint something to adhere to. And so it's beneficial still to just get some paint down all over it. All right, think I need to go down a little further. I'm gonna give myself a little line. It doesn't have to be exact, but I'm just gonna give myself a little line. So I have an idea roundabouts of where it needs to go to. All right. Good enough. Good enough for me. All right, so we got our gray down. Now we want to move on to this blue color. Now to me, when I look at that blue color, I see some blue, but I also see a lot of white, but it's also muted. So that, to me, that tells me there's a little bit of black in there, just a tiny bit. So we're gonna go back to our palette and we're gonna scoop up. And then notice I haven't washed my brush out because if we're gonna add a little bit of black, I really don't need to anyways. Black and white, I should say. So I'm gonna take a scoop of some white, a little bit of blue, and I'm gonna go easy because it's a really dark color, and I can always add more blue to make it darker if I want, but it's harder to take the blue out. Same thing goes for black. So with these really dark colors, I like to go easy. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of blue in. And I think I could do for a little bit more blue. So now I'll go in and take a little more. But it's always good to build it up instead of going, oh man, this is way too dark. All right. And then I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of black, and if you can see, I'm literally doing the tiniest bit of black and adding it to my color. Because if I want to make it a little more gray, I can always do that, but like I said, it's so hard once you overdo it with the dark colors. So I'm going to add a little more white. I think I want a little more white. And let's see, I'll do a tiny bit more black. And that's good enough for me. Yeah, I think that's good enough for my water. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab a little more water on my brush, and then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start to paint this second level, this blue. And that's gonna go right from about here to down here where the road starts. And you're gonna do it the same exact way. You're just gonna go right in with your medium-sized brush, and you're just gonna start painting that color on. All right, let's see. And we gotta bring this down a little bit further. All right. And I think that's good enough for me too. Now with this level of color, this blue area, you do want to make sure it's a little bit more covered. Hi Sherry, how you doing? You do want to make sure it's a little bit more covered, only because if you look over here, there, you do see a little more of this background color. So we do want to make sure it's covered. And what I mean by covered is, I'll pull this a little closer to you. See how sometimes you can see some of the white dots where maybe the paint isn't being soaked into the canvas quite as much? You want to go back in. You want to go back in and you want to make sure it's all covered. Because like I said before, not only is it going to look good, but it's also going to give something for the rest of your paint to adhere to. All right. If you find you have brush strokes and you don't like it, like in the middle of your painting, go ahead and make longer brush strokes all the way from one end of the canvas to the other. And that should take care of any little brush strokes that you see on your canvas. All right, I think the blue is good. Now we're gonna move on to that kind of light green color we have down there. So this time I am gonna wash my brush out I'm gonna make sure and get all of that blue out of there. And then after I wash my brush out, I squeeze my brush out just like that to get the extra water out. I do it over your water jar though, or whatever you're using, simply because you know, you'll make a little mess. So got my clean brush, got the extra water squeezed out of it, and now I want to move on to this green on the bottom. So to me, I see green, but I also see yellow, and I also see some white in this light muted color green that we have for the grass down here. So I'm going to take my palette, and I'm going to take a scoop of white, and I'm going to take some green. Again, I might take a little off, because again, I don't want to do too much. It's like I said, it's always easy to add more. It's harder when you do too much. So green, and I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm going to mix this all up. Now, while I really do like, hi Lisa, how's it going? While I do really like this green color, I think it's really nice. For my taste and for the original painting that I have, it's just not quite muted enough, so I'm gonna add just like the smallest bit of black, which is gonna kind of gray it out. So, I don't know, for me that's what I like to do. I take the oil painting class with Jim Perkins at Studio 23, and he always says, when in doubt, gray it out, and I think that's pretty much one of my life mottos at this point. When in doubt, gray it out. So I like that a little better. I've grayed out my green just a little bit, maybe a smidge more yellow. I don't know, let's get funky with it, shall we? Let's see. Ooh, I'm digging that. Liking that better, liking it better. All right. So, add a little water to it because I really want it to go on smooth. I'm gonna load up my brush, and I'm gonna go right in to that bottom level. And I'm gonna do it the same exact way I've been doing it, just filling that in totally. Now, if you do have any questions along the line, I can, for the most part, see what you're typing. So I'm sure between myself and the other Studio 23 friends and family members, I'm sure we should be able to answer any questions for you that you might have. I'll try to explain everything out as much as I can, but I am not the normal Sip and Swirl instructor. We normally have Sue and Misty, who are phenomenal and who do absolutely amazing jobs at teaching Sip and Swirls, and I'll never pretend to be Misty and Sue. So, because of that, sometimes I may forget that, you know, if people are new to painting, they might not know exactly what I'm doing. So just say something, let me know, and I will try and stop and help you out as much as I can. All right, so again, I have some brush strokes that I don't like, so I'm going to take this from side to side and get all those out, because I don't like that. That's just my personal preference. Maybe you like it, maybe you think it adds texture, and then, well, don't listen to me, what do I know? All right, so I have my 3 layers here, and you might even notice that my colors are a little bit different than the original. That's because I'm using different paints than what I used when I originally painted this. And I think that's fine. And yours might be completely different than these two. And I think, again, it's gonna work out great. So don't worry too much about it. All right, cleaning my brush out, squeezing that excess water. Hi Val, how's it going? Got my brush all washed out and squeezed the excess water out. And now I think what I wanna do is I'm gonna blow dry it a little bit because I want to expedite this whole process. So if you do have your blow dryer, this would be the time to go ahead and dry this off. Shouldn't take very long. Don't worry, Bethany, you have plenty of time to go grab your blow dryer. This is gonna take a minute. So you can tell if it's dry. If you don't want to touch it, it won't look shiny anymore. That's how you'll know. But I don't mind. I get paint hands all the time, so I'll just touch it and I can tell it's pretty dry. So I think I'm good. So to move on from there, and to kind of discuss what we're gonna do next, we're gonna continue to build up some more layers. But we want to start with what's in the background still. So our background for us would be really the water, the sun, this cabin, the beach, and the clouds. That's really all of our background. So that's where we're going to move on to next. So I think probably we'll go with, we'll do the clouds. I think that's a good place to start, the clouds. And that's pretty easy. We're just gonna do straight white, just straight white paint. I always like to add a little water when I paint with acrylic, just so I don't have to use too much of it. I'm stingy with my paints, I guess, I don't know. But I always like to add just a little bit of water to it. And I'm just gonna still use my medium-sized brush, and I'm just gonna load it up with some water and some white paint. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna make some clouds. Now we really don't have to worry too much over here because the clouds are gonna, for the most part, get covered by the sun. So we really just gonna have to make clouds right about here and maybe up here. Now with this cloud in general, he looks like he's pretty flat on the bottom and then he gets pretty fluffy on top. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our brush and I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna kind of press my brush to get the kind of cloudiness that we have going on. So instead of brushing, it's almost like I'm using my brush like a stamp, I guess would be a way to say it. So I'm just gonna go in and see how I'm just kind of doing that. I'm just kind of and then when you come over here, if you want, you can start to brush more a little bit. And if you want, if you're worried over here that it'll be seen, you can go right back to using your brush as more of a stamp than a brush. And for me, that's good enough because we really won't see this part. And then we're gonna go in and we're gonna do this little tiny cloud right here. And it gets really close to the other cloud, but it doesn't quite touch. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna kind of do the same exact thing, but we're just not gonna have them touch. Just so we know they're two separate clouds. All right. And I think I'm happy with these clouds. I think that's good enough for me. So now I'll probably go in with a little more white and just build up those clouds a little more. So I'm gonna add a little more white to my paint. Now because I'm using my brush more like a stamp, when I'm loading my brush, I'm not loading it like this. I'm holding my brush like this and I'm kind of patting it on my white paint, if that helps. So I'm gonna go in again and I'm just gonna, just because I really want my clouds to show. I love clouds. And I think that's why, part of the reason why we made sure to add them in this painting is because, you know, when you have like a beautiful day, you can get out and get in a drive up north, you know what I mean? That's the clouds, you got the beautiful sky. I mean, that's just the best, right? And I'm sure we're all waiting for those days to come back again, so. All right. Good for me, and I'm gonna do a little more right here. All right, and I think that's good enough for me. Oh, there we go. You can probably see this little cloud a little better. Okay. Why didn't someone tell me the edge was over on outside of the camera? Yeah, Spencer, why didn't you tell me that? Spencer is watching. He's one of our Sip and Swirl instructors as well. He does a fantastic job. He also teaches our teen classes and does a fantastic job at that as well. All right, so moving on, let's see. I think we need to move on to the sun next, is what I would say. But I think we're gonna wanna dry these clouds so we don't end up making any messes. So again, you're gonna grab your handy dandy blow dryer, get those clouds dried. Let's see. I think we're good enough. I think we're dry enough. So, I think I'm ready to move on to the sun. Now, to make the sun, if you look at the original, the inspiration over here, it's mostly just a big circle. And then if you think of the rays as like kind of triangle shapes that go in different directions, it might be a little helpful for you. So we're doing a really big circle, and then these funky little triangle shapes are gonna come off of it. I don't know if that helps at all, but for me it always helps if I break stuff down into shapes. It helps me every time. Okay, so to do the sun, we are gonna want to add a little tiny bit of our red to our palette now, because we need to make this orange color, and really the only way we're going to do that is adding a little red to our palette. So we don't need a lot. Just add a little bit right there. You can see what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay, so I'm still going to be using my medium brush, and I'm going to take some yellow and a little tiny bit of red. Let's see what I got. That's a pretty good orange. I think I'm digging that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So we got that made up, so we'll need yellow and we'll need orange. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna wash my brush off really quickly. squeeze the water out, and now I'm ready to do my sun, okay? Because we're gonna start with yellow, and then we're gonna move on to that orange color we just made, okay? So you are gonna want your sun to come down to your water line, and it's a little more than half. If you take a look, I mean, this is approximate, right? But it's a little more than half, so you're gonna really want to make a circle kind of like that, going from the side to the water. And maybe you want it to go like this, maybe you want it to come like this. I mean, that's entirely up to you, but I'm gonna try and do it like this. So I'm gonna go in with just my yellow and a little bit of water, and I'm gonna make my sun. So let's see, I'm not holding my brush flat, I'm gonna hold it perpendicular to my canvas so I can actually use the thin part of it to draw, okay? And I'm just gonna go for it. Let's see. Good enough. All right. Now I'm going to start filling it in with my yellow. Now when I fill it in, I can use the flat part. So it, whoops. So it goes further. But for right now, or excuse me, when you're doing the edges, you want it to be perpendicular. When you're filling in, you can go ahead and use the flat parts. All right. Ooh, I like that nice bright yellow. That is so nice. Love it. Making me think of summer and warm weather and nicer days to come. All right. So, but if you notice, it's pretty see-through, right? Which, that's not cool. We need it to be opaque. We don't want to see clouds through our sun. So one thing you can do to fix that is add white. If any of your paint colors are opaque and they're lighter colors like yellow or orange, adding a little bit of white to them will make them more opaque. So I'm going to take a little white and a bunch of yellow. We'll try that again. Now it does make it a little bit lighter, but it should make it less transparent, which is what I want. Now if it makes it too light, I can always scoop up a little tiny bit of my orange that I made and throw that in there and see what it does. That's kind of nice. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill that in again. And since I already have my line drawn, it's going to be that much easier. Now see, look at that. Look at it. It's covering much more. It's much better. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Much better coverage. Now, we all apply paints at different amounts, so you may find that you might even need another layer of yellow after this, and that's okay too. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, now you can still see through it a little bit. I'm not too worried about that right now. But if it's really bothering you, you can always blow dry, add another layer. I'm gonna move on. And if you look at the original, you'll see it's kind of got some orange blended into the edge, and then it blends out to our little funky triangle sun rays, right, that we have going on. So I'm going to move on to that while this is still wet. I'm gonna grab some white, I think, and add it to my orange because I want it to be nice and opaque. Okay, let's see. I'll add a little more yellow back to that. Tiny bit more red. A little more yellow. Good enough, good enough. All right, so then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna just start to blend in that orange right at the edge there. Now, one thing that helps me blend is to make sure I have water on my brush when I do it. So even though I'm loaded, I just dipped it in some water. And then I'm gonna go in lightly and start to add this orange to the edge. Now, to get it right up to the edge, I'm holding my brush so the brush meets flat against it. I'm not holding it perpendicular this time. All right, and then from there, now you can use a tissue if you want, but I taught kids classes enough where I'm not scared to get dirty and use my hands, so I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna blend it out. Now, if you're someone who has any kind of paint allergies or any allergies in general, you may want to use paper towel or gloves if you have them laying around. But I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it with my hands, and then I'm going to wipe them off really quickly when I'm done. All right, and I like that. I like how that looks. So I think I'm good with that. So wipe my hands off, get some of that paint off there. All right. So now we're going to move on to those little rays, okay? Now we're going to still use the same orange kind of color that we've been using, with, again, a little bit of water, right? And we want to have some kind of point. Now, we will be able to add more of a point once we add this outline, but in the meantime, we want to try for as much of a point as we can. So we're going to want to hold our brush perpendicular again to the canvas. So we're just going to go in and we're going to do some funky triangle shapes, right? So there's one. All right. Here's two. Three, and we're just going to keep on going just like that, okay? Now if you notice the pointed end, I kind of have them going different directions. I don't know, I think it's just fun and it adds just a little whimsical touch to it. Maybe you want them all to be uniform and all go the same direction, and that's fine too. If you think it doesn't have enough of a point on the end, you can always go right back in with your brush, hold it perpendicular, and add a point back to it. Now I'm going to keep going in. If they're different sizes, I think that's completely fine. Because if you look at the original, they're all sort of different sizes too. Load up with more orange, and I'm just going to keep on going. One thing you might notice is I'm kind of having the edge of each triangle form touch. For me, I don't know, I like the way that looks. If you don't worry about it. If they're not touching, don't worry about it. If they're not touching and you want them to, just add a little more to the edges until they meet up, just a little bit more. And you don't have to worry too much, because if you're using the thinner side of your brush, you're not going to be adding too much to it, so you don't have to worry. All right, let's get some more on here. Good enough. All right, because that side is going to kind of be hidden by trees. All right, so then you may possibly have to go back over your orange that you blended out again, and that's fine. Otherwise, oh, thank you, Misty. Remember earlier I was talking about our Sip and Swirl instructors, Sue and Misty. Misty's saying it looks good, so thank you so much. I appreciate it. I feel a little rusty because I don't do these all the time like you and Sue do, but hopefully I'm doing you guys a little bit proud. All right. So I think we're gonna move on from the sun, but again, oh, we love you too. We miss you. We can't wait to get back into the studio and to see all of our wonderful instructors and students again. We really do miss you guys. So to move on, I think the next part we're gonna do is, I think we're gonna do the sand right here. I think that's probably a good place to move on. But I can see actually no, this is pretty dry. If you put your paint on really thick, you may have to blow dry really quickly, but I think that's actually all right. So, get back into the groove. Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm trying. All right. So we're going to move on to this sand part. For that's just a lot of white and oh, thank you, Val. I miss you guys too. I really do. I cannot wait to get back into the studio and to see everyone and to see all the art and to see, everything that we have going on there. I really do miss it. Okay, so to do this sand color, we just want to do some white and a little tiny bit of yellow. And I might not even do that much because I really don't want to go overboard with the yellow. I want it to be a really, really pale color. All right, now that's a really nice off-white color, but like I said, like I learned from the amazing oil painting artist Jim Perkins, when in doubt, gray it out. And Misty can vouch for me here because she also takes Jim Perkins' class with me. And so I'm going to take the tiniest bit of dark, just the tiniest bit, see? And actually, I don't even think I'm going to take that much. I'm going to take some off, and I'm going to add it to my off-white color because I don't want it to look so yellow. And I think that's pretty good. That's pretty close to sand color. So we're gonna do our dunes. I don't know what you want to call those. The beachfront. I'm gonna add a little water to mine because I like it to go on smooth. All right. And then I'm gonna go in, and because I'm drawing with my brush, I want to hold it perpendicular again. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to start at my water line, and I'm just going to draw one beachfront, sand dune, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to do, let's see, another one. And I know for a while they'll kind of just look blended together, but when I outline these, it's going to help me that I did make two separate ones, because when I go to do the outline, I'm still going to see the brush stroke, and that's going to tell me, oh, I got to separate these. Now the outline is nice because it adds a nice little, fun little whimsical pop, right? The other thing that's nice about outlining is you don't have to be so very precise with the brush. That's the other great thing about outlining when we're all done painting. So if you do this, if you do part of it and you're like, oh gosh, that doesn't look so great, you know, where maybe some of your colors meet up, right? Like right here, the water or something. Don't worry too much, because we're gonna go over this with a Sharpie on all of the edges. If you look at the original, all of the edges have been gone over with a Sharpie. So that's gonna give you just a little bit of space for correction. All right. Now, let's see. I want to build that up a little more because I don't want to be able to see the sun through that. So, all right. And that's good enough for me. If you want, you can always blow dry it and do another coat. I'm going to wash my brush out, squeeze that excess water out. Good to go. All right, so I think now the next part we're going to want to move on to is these trees, then our little cabin, and then these trees. But I need this part dry first. So we're going to bust out the handy dandy blow dryer really quickly. Good enough. All right. Yes, I love Jim too. He's amazing. You need to get out and paint. Today would have been the day to do it. I was considering it, but alas, I had homework. What you gonna do? Life, right? But today would have been an amazing day to get out and plein air paint. All right, so our dunes or our shore or whatever you want to call it, it's all dry. So I think we're going to move on to these trees that are back here. So I have the trees different colors. You could make them the same color and then just separate them by the outline if it's easier for you. Or you could simply use a dark green and add maybe a little yellow for one and a little white for the other. That way, which I can probably show you that one. But it's up to you. You don't have to get too carried away, and you can simplify this image more if you need to. You need sun? I think we all need sun at this point. I think we all feel like shut-ins, or maybe that's just me. I don't know. I feel like a shut-in though. All right. So we're gonna go in. I think I'll start with this. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like this yellowy green color back here. I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to do a darker tree and then a medium color bush in front of it. Now, it's going to look a little funky because it's not all separated with the outlines yet, but that's okay. It'll all come together at the end, I promise you. All right, so to get that yellow-green, we're going to do some green paint, some yellow paint, and a little bit of white. And I think we're gonna do a little more white than that because that's a little dark for me. That's a little better. And how about some yellow? Ooh, I love it. All right, and I think that's good enough. All right, so I'm gonna get a little water on my brush so it'll run smooth for me. And I'm gonna hold my brush like a pen, but it's only so I can get some little small brush detail going. You're okay. My dogs are in and out, in and out. I don't blame them on this beautiful day. I'm pretty sure they come inside for water and maybe a little bite to eat, and then they want to go right back outside in the backyard. All right, so I'm going to keep going with this bush kind of shape that I'm doing here. And it doesn't have to be too fancy because remember, there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on in front of it. We just want to make sure it does touch our beach or dune or whatever you want to call it in some capacity. All right, so next I think we'll do this tree. And that's a little bit of a darker color, green. I think I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry this really quickly. Shouldn't take too long. Good enough. All right, now I want a darker green, so I think, let's see. You don't even really have to wash your brush out, I don't think. Just, I think go in and swipe a little bit of that dark green that we have and maybe add a little white to it so it's a little more opaque like we want. And let's see. It's pretty bright. I don't know. Oh no, just not waking up. What the heck? Just not waking up. No, I don't blame you. I really could have used a nap today too. All right, this is just too bright for me. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and add maybe a little bit of, I don't know, blue to it. This is bugging me though, so let's see. Oh, that's way too much blue. Ooh, better. So I added a little blue to it, but then I added a little more green because I really want like an evergreen kind of color. And this is, I think, much closer to what I was thinking of, but it's still gonna be opaque enough. And I don't know if you can see that color, but that one right there, that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do the that evergreen tree there. Now, how I'm gonna tackle that evergreen tree is, again, I always take it back to shapes. So for me, it's kind of like an arrow shape. And you're just gonna kind of keep doing arrow shapes all the way down, filling it in the middle, if that helps. That's how I always think of it. To be honest, I think most people's sleep schedule is off. Oh man, I know mine is. I've been going to bed at like 1 in the morning. It's bad, because I'm naturally a night owl. But working at the studio, I got onto the schedule of having to get up early and be to work at 8:30. So I shouldn't let myself get to my old schedule, but I totally did. Shame on me. Anyway, so we're gonna go in and we're gonna make those arrow shapes to get this evergreen tree. And we're just gonna go right in, and I'm holding my brush like a pen again, and we're gonna do these arrow shapes. Okay? And we want it to get wider the further down we go. All right. I think this guy is good enough. You can mess with him more if you want, but I'm going to outline him, and we're going to put another bush in front of him, so I really think we don't need to get too carried away. But we are going to want to blow dry him because, Val, you're a night owl too. I feel like we've had this conversation before. I feel like I knew that about you. I feel like that was, we kind of laughed and we said that we wondered why so many artists that we know are night owls. I wonder if there is some kind of correlation there. All right, so let's blow dry our deciduous tree. He's too wet. Good enough. All right. So now I want to do this this bush in the front, and that's really kind of just like the cloud shapes that we did earlier. But we're gonna want to use a different green than the one we just used. So what's happening? There we go. Okay. So you're gonna want to go in and use that that green that we were using for this little bush earlier. And if you don't have any left, it looks like I don't have very much. It's yellow, green, and white. All right. And I'm going to hold my brush on the side because I'm going to kind of do that cloud pattern again. And I'm just going to make one. And I'm going to add a little water to my brush because I want that to go on nice and smooth. So 1. 2. And 3. And then the bottom, we kind of want to keep that flat. No. That's kind of behind the sand over here. But I think that's okay. I think as long as we have kind of a flat edge to it, I think it's going to be just fine. And we could even make them into 2 separate bushes if we want. When we outline it, or if you're really that worried about it, you could go back in with the white and go back over that sand shape or that dune shape. All right. So let's see. Next, I think we're going to want to do the house. And that's not too hard. It's kind of if you break it down into shapes, like I was saying earlier, I think it'll be a little easier. Let's see. Can you see that? Okay. So it's like a triangle on top and a rectangle on the bottom. It's pretty basic. We didn't get too carried away with this. So we're gonna do brown, and I'll show you how to mix that up. Dark brown, triangle on top, rectangle on the bottom. All right, so to get that brown color, we're gonna use mostly this dark brown that we have going on. But if you wanted to add a little bit of white to it, if you were concerned that it's not gonna be opaque enough, you could always do that. right, now I'm still going to be using this big brush. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to draw out that shape first. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do my triangle first for the top of the house. And I'm just making a triangle shape. Now if you are having a hard time with this, having a hard time controlling your bigger brush, you could always use a smaller brush. I'm just trying to use the least amount of brushes possible just to show you guys that, you know, you can paint with darn near anything. Alright, so here's our rectangle shape down here. Okay, and I think that's good enough because there's going to be a lot of stuff hidden by a roof and more trees, etc., etc. So I think that part's good. Now we to do the roof, it's going to be a lot for the side right here. It's just going to be a line down on the side. Oh well, and a line down on this side. A line going straight back, and then we're going to fill it in, and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do. But we need it to be a lighter brown color so we know it's a roof. So, oh, I need more white. Let me grab more white paint. And while I'm doing that, you're going to want to mix a little bit. Hi Jen, how's it going? How's your mom doing? How's Sue doing? I miss her. She's so funny, I miss her. Alright, so I'm going to load a little bit of white, again, on my paper. And then I'm not even going to clean my brush. I'm just going to go in with some brown on it and grab some white, and let's see what we got going on. It's making a light brown. That's a little too light, I think, for me, so I'm going to take just a smidge more brown. Really just a tiny, tiny bit more. Quarantining. Oh, yeah. I know. Aren't we all? But knowing her, she's probably got like a bunch of like house projects going on while she's quarantining. All right, I think this is good enough. This color right here is what we're going to make our roof. All right. So we're going to go in, I'm going to hold my brush like it's a pen again because I want to use the thin part of it, right? And I'm going to make a line down one side of my triangle to make a roof. Okay? And then I'm going to make a line down the other side. Okay? And that's the first part of our roof. Now for the rest of it, we're just going to make a line horizontal, and one more line horizontal, and just paint it out. Just like that. Now, there we go. I had a crooked roof. Okay, so now normally, yes, you would color in this part the color of the house, but we're gonna have bushes there, so I figured it doesn't really matter, right? So I'm gonna go in and, well, actually I better blow dry just because I really don't want my colors to mix too much. I don't want to undo the work I just did. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make this tree bush thing we got going on, and then we'll do this one in front. So I'm just gonna grab my brush. It still has light brown on it. I don't even care. I'm just gonna go in, grab my brush. Let's see, grab a little green, and we'll see what we come up with. And a little yellow. All right. That's a really cool green, but I think it needs to be a little lighter, so I'm gonna grab a little more white. Oh heck, we might as well grab a little more yellow too. Better, 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 better. Let's see. Okay. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna make this bush right here a tree. I think it looks like maybe more of a tree. But what we're gonna do is, because you see how it kind of has that cloud look to it, so we're gonna go in again and we're gonna kind of use that cloud kind of technique. So we're gonna use the side of our brush again. So not the front, we're gonna use that side again. And we want it to be bigger at the bottom, and we want it to go in on the top and end at a point. So let's see. All right, good enough. I think, oops. All right, that is good enough. And then we're going to, well, let's just go, let's add some dark green and we'll do that front. We'll do that bush in front. I think, we won't blow dry that one. We'll see how it works out. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to let us know. There's a lot of us who should be able to answer you. We're gonna go in and we're gonna do this bush the same way we did this one. And it's a little more like a cloud again. It's gonna be kind of that cloudiness on top and then the flat line on the bottom. We just wanna make sure we cover the bottoms of the house, this kind of stuff, okay? So we're gonna, and we want it to be widest here, and it gets smaller coming down into a point, so make sure you do that too. So we're gonna do that cloud technique. Now to do that straight line on the bottom, I am going to go in with my brush perpendicular and use it more like a pencil. I might need to add a little water, let's see. There we go. Much better. All right. I'm much happier with that. Okay. So, I think we've really gotten a lot done so far. So while we're waiting for that to dry, I think we will move on to the other side. So we'll move on to all these trees and all this bush down here. Now, these bushes down here, I have them all different colors. Oh, let's see, you can't see. There we go. The bushes down here, they are all different variations of green. But you could make them all the same if it's easier for you, and then just separate them when you go to outline, or you could just make them a couple different versions of green. You know, it's completely up to you and up to your skill level. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna start. We'll start with this evergreen tree back here. So we need another dark green color. So go back to your palette. Let's see. Grab some dark green, some blue, a little bit of white, maybe a little bit more blue. A little bit too much. Let's add a little more green. A little yellow. We'll throw a little yellow in there. There we go. That's better. That's much better. All right. So we're going to go in and we're going to make that evergreen tree. Now, we want him to kind of start right about here, and we want him to go down to, he only really has to go down to about here because there's going to be other bushes there in front of him. So if you want, if it helps you, you can draw a little dot for the top, and then to give you some kind of idea where it needs to end, you can draw a little line too. If you need it, if it helps you. Okay, so we're gonna go in and we're just gonna draw, again, that arrow shape that I was talking about before, right? So we're gonna go one side and the other, and one side and the other. Now remember, we want it to get wider because we want that base to be much wider than the top, right? Load my brush back up. And this side, it doesn't even really matter, I don't think, because it's going to get covered. So now I'm just going to go in and fill it in. So if you are following along and you are painting with me today, I would love, love, love to see your finished product. And you can either tag us in it on Facebook or Instagram, and or you can also use the hashtag Studio23OnTheGo. Just keep in mind, if you want us to be able to see it and possibly share it, you have to make the post public. So keep that in mind when you are doing that. Okay, I think that tree is good enough. So I'm going to move on to the green, the leafy part of the deciduous tree here. So we need a much lighter green for that. So we're going to grab our green, and we're going to add more white to it, maybe a little yellow. Let's see what we can get popping here.
No.
That's pretty good.
No.
I don't know, I like that.
Okay.
Maybe a little more green, but
No.
I don't know, I kind of like that.
No.
Let's see. Okay. So that is, again, kind of like the clouds, how we kind of make those shapes with the side of our brush. Thank you. Yes. Hashtag Studio23OnTheGo. Hashtag MakeArtVirtual. Yes, please. Please tag us. We would love to see if you're working on this. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the side of my brush again, and I'm going to go right to the top of the canvas. And I'm going to make those kind of cloud shapes. They're real rounded. They're very fanciful, fanciful, very I don't know, these are kind of playful trees, but I like it. It works for me anyways. Whimsical, I think, probably would be the word I'm looking for. think that's good enough because it is a tree. So it's organic, right? So the lines aren't gonna be straight and perfect. Because of that, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. So I think that's good enough. But I do think at this point, before I add in the trunk of the tree, I do think I should probably blow dry it. So grab my hand dandy blow dryer again, get that taken care of. Dry enough. So we're gonna do the trunk. We need brown and some white. So we got our palette. And I'm gonna do a little tiny bit of white. Yeah, I like that. That's a really nice kind of chocolatey color we got going on there. All right. So I'm gonna hold my brush like a pen and we're gonna go in and we're gonna kind of just draw these pointed designs. You can almost think of them as little funky triangles. So like we had these triangle shapes here or here, right? These ones are just much thinner looking, right? If you wanna think of it shape-wise. Like I said, for me, I always have to relate it to a shape. That's just how my crazy brain works. So I'm gonna go in, still holding like a pencil, and I'm going to add that shape. And I want it to have a little more of a point, so let's do that. Add this shape right here. Load up with a little more paint. That's good. So I think from there, we just have to finish making the trunk. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you've painted this, if you're looking at it and you're like, oh, mine does not look so good, or oh, mine does not look like Autumn's. Don't worry too much because again, when you outline it, you're going to be able to fix a lot of things that you don't like. Okay? All right. So, I think for the next step, we better move on to, let's see. Let's let this dry a minute and let's move on to these bushes down here. So I think we'll start with this one. This color, this funky colored one. I don't know how I ended up with the aqua colored bush, but hey, it is what it is. This one, and then this one. All right, so we're gonna keep using our greens. Oh, I think I need a little more green, so let's see. And maybe a little more yellow. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a refill on my palette because I'm kind of running low on my paints. So I'm gonna add more green, more yellow. It looks like I got brown and blue and white. So I think that's good. You might need to refill while you're at it too. All right. So let's go in and add this bush down here. And that's a very yellowy green. So let's take some yellow, let's take a little green. I'm gonna take a tiny little bit of brown. So it's not so in my face. I like that. Okay, good, good, good. I like that color. All right. All right. So again, that's since it's a bush, it's got that kind of same cloud shape. So we're just gonna go in and we're gonna make that. Let's see. It doesn't really need to go down all the way to the bottom. Honestly, I'd say right about here you could stop. So I'm gonna make a little line right here so I know where it needs to go to. And then it goes out just a little ways from that tree. So I think I'll start it right about here. Good enough. All right. Then we'll do this darker color bush. And I'm just gonna take that same green that I was just using and I'm just gonna add a little bit of brown to it. I don't wanna get carried away because I can always add more, but if I make it too much, it's gonna end up being brown and then people aren't gonna see that it's a bush. They're gonna read it more as wood or a stone or something. That's a nice olivey green though, I like that. So I think that'll do. So we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna go in and let's see. That one looks like it probably needs to be about the same height. Maybe we'll make this one a little bigger, why not? So about here, and that one needs to end, we'll say about here. We're doing the same kind of cloudy shapes. Right. Let's see. We're gonna wait and fill this in. We'll move on to this shape right here. And that's more of that evergreen color. I'm not even gonna bother washing my brush off though, because I don't think these colors have to be exact as long as they're kind of varying and we're not putting like tones next to each other. I think it's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna grab some dark green and mix that up a little bit, maybe take a little yellow, maybe get a tiny bit of blue. Ooh, that's way too much blue, there we go. Trying to go for a little more of an evergreen kind of color, approximately, like I said. You know, don't worry too much if you're thinking, I'm not getting that exact color, don't worry. All right, so we're gonna go in. Now this shape is a little, let's see if I can move it, there we go. This shape's a little different because it's much lower, so we're probably going to want it to touch the ground here, and it gets much higher, so there's much more of an angle happening there. But I'm still gonna, I think I'm going to kind of draw that one in first just to kind of help me along. So I'm going to hold it like a pencil, and let's see, and then I'm going to go in and do a couple shapes. All right. All right. Good enough. So now we want to go in with this one, and we want that to be a little bit lighter than what we were doing before. So honestly, I think if you just take the color you were just using and add some white to it, or white and yellow even if you wanted to, I think that would be just fine. Like I said, we just don't want like tints or, you know, shades next to each other of our greens, and I think we'll be just fine. So I've just added a little white to that color that I have here. I don't know, maybe I'll add a little yellow to it. If you haven't been able to tell by now, I really prefer the yellow-green color. But maybe that's just me. Now that's pretty bright. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna add a little tiny bit of brown, just so it's not too in your face. Okay, maybe I'm just being picky, but I like that better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the top the same way, where it's gonna be the kind of cloud shapes, but they're all gonna be approximately the same height. I mean, there might be a little, if you look over here, you can see that there's a little bit of variance, but it's all pretty much the same height. But what you will notice is the bottom is not flat, it kind of curves, because we're kind of making a curve out of this part of the grass. So if you wanted to even do that part first, if you're worried, like that's gonna be the hardest part. It's not hard, I promise, but if you're worried about that, we can do that part first. So you're just gonna load up, and I would hold your brush like a pencil, okay? And we'll start roundabouts right where this one started. And we're gonna just go down and rounded, just like that. Now, if you didn't get a very straight line, remember, don't worry too much, because that black outline is going to help you fix stuff. And then you can just go in and make those kind of cloud shapes like you did before. All right, well, let's see, there we go. Just a little bit, just punch it up a little. Okay, good enough. So this is going to be something we're going to add maybe a little more blue to for this area. I think this is also like maybe implied grass. It's just supposed to be like a different color or something. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and draw with our brush. I will take that color I'm using and just add a little tiny bit more blue to it. We just don't want to leave it blue like the water. That's really the main goal here. So don't worry too much about this part. We're just going to kind of fill in though at this point. So let's see, we'll have it start maybe about here. And I'm going to follow this line. And then I'm going to try to carefully fill it in, but I'm not going to worry too much, because I know that outline is going to hide a multitude of paint lines, sin for me, right? Okay. Good, good, good. So that is, it's looking good. I mean, how are you guys feeling with how yours is looking right now? I'm pretty happy with how far along we've come in such a short amount of time. Normally, if you do a sip and swirl at the studio, it's going to be about approximately 3 hours. So I think if we can knock this out and it's any shorter than that, I think like we're doing pretty good. So, all right. So I think the last thing we really need to do for this whole tree area over here is this light colored tree with the trunk right here in the front. And what we want to do with this is we just want to make sure, well, we're going to fill in more, but we also want to make sure we cover the bottom of this trunk since we didn't complete it. Now when we do this, you just want to make sure, like over here, let's see, can you see this? Yes, okay. It's short, it's more narrow up here, and the tree does get a little wider on the bottom, right? But we're still using that same kind of cloud technique with the side of our brush. Okay, now this green is, let's see if you can see it more. That's much more yellow than what we're using right now. So I'm just gonna go in, scoop up some yellow, and let's see, we'll go. And I might even take a little white, I think, and go in. I think I need to add a little water to this. So if you can see right here, and actually I think I might even do a little more yellow and a little tiny bit more white. I want this tree to pop. I really want this tree to come forward. So I'm going to do that by making it a little bit lighter and a little bit warmer. All right, I think that's good enough. All right, so we're gonna go in. We're gonna make those rounded kind of cloud shapes. I think I need a little more water on my brush. And then I'm just going to fill it all in up to the side. Ooh, I like that. I like that. All right. Now that little tree needs a trunk. So I think the easiest, I'm gonna, actually, you know what? I'm gonna rinse off my brush because we got a lot of green in it, and make sure you squeeze all that excess water out. We don't want that. You really love all the greens that I'm coming up with tonight. Thank you. Can you tell, Val, that my absolute favorite color is green? More than that, can you tell that my absolute favorite color is yellow-green? All right. So I'm gonna, to do my trunk, I think I'm gonna keep it basic, and I'm just gonna do a brown and white mixture to make a light colored wood. So let's see, take a little brown. Oh, I need more white, but well, let's see what we can do. I think that's good enough. Yep, I think that's good enough. Okay, now, if you're really worried about doing this trunk, you can switch over to a smaller brush. I have one this size that would probably work really well. Plus I'm wearing green. Yes, and I'm literally wearing my favorite green. I'm such a nerd. Okay, so if you're really worried, you go ahead and use a smaller brush. I'm gonna go ahead and use this bigger brush, but if you're not comfortable, do what works for you, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go in, and when I do this, I'm gonna hold my brush like a pencil again, okay? And I want my trunk to start at the bottom of this tree, but I only want it to go to this bush that's right in the front there, okay? And I'm just gonna make 2 vertical lines and then fill it in. Darn lefties, let's see. There we go. Okay, so I could actually see what I was doing, sorry. Should you dry? Mine is dry enough, but you might not be putting you might be putting a different amount of paint on. So that's a great question, Lisa. If you think that the bushes are too wet, yes, I would go ahead and dry right now, because you don't want this trunk to look green at all. As much as I love green, this is one part we don't want to be green. So if you think your bushes are still wet, yes, I would go ahead and blow dry it, and then I would do the trunk once you've blow dried it. But as you can see, this is a little wet, but I'm not too worried about that. But the rest of it that I'm painting over is all very dry. So I'm not super duper worried about that. Okay, moving on. Let's see. We have another little bush on this side that we probably need to take care of really quickly. So honestly, I say at this point, just go for it, any green you want. And you're again gonna do that cloud shape. and you want it to come to, let's see, we need a road. The road's gonna go about here and here. So I'd say roundabouts here is where you want it to end, and you want it to be tall enough. So I would say you want it to go to about there, but you're gonna want to do that same cloud technique. So I'm gonna go in and let's see what green I got. And that's gonna be good enough, I think. All right, so I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna do that same kind of cloudy looking technique. The only thing is I only want it to go down to my little ground line right there. I don't want to go on the ground. So I'm going to use it like a pencil so I make sure I can get a kind of straight line. And then I'm going to fill it in. There we go. All right, I think that is looking pretty good so far. All right, so while that is drying, if you want, we can do the little bit of details on the house, because that's all mine. I don't know about you, but mine is all super dry up there. All right, so really simple. I tried to keep this really simple. Let's see if I'll make it a little closer so you can see what I'm talking about. We have a little yellow circle for the window that we just put lines on, again with the Sharpie, so don't worry about that right now. And then we just have a little red, orangish red kind of front door, and that's just a rectangle. So I'm trying to keep it very simple. So while our trees and our bushes are drying, if you have a smaller brush, this would be the time to do it. You could maybe do this with a bigger brush, but I don't suggest it. So I'm just gonna go in with my little brush and just get a little bit of red, load it on there, and I'm gonna make a little tiny rectangle to make that door. And I only wanna go down to that bush that's there. I don't want to cover that bush at all. All right, so I got a little nice friendly red door, red front door, right? And then I want to do a little yellow circle. Oops. I want to do a little yellow circle for the window, but I need to load up more yellow. And I think I need a little more white. All right. So again, I'm going to take my little brush. Yes, that is a great reminder that this video is going to be on our video tab. And so if you, for whatever reason, needed to go back over something when we're done, you'll be able to pull this up and watch it a million times. Who's doing great? I'm doing great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I felt a little bit rusty. I haven't taught sip and swirls in many years, but I gotta tell you, I'm having fun. This is fun. So I hope you guys are having fun too, because I'm really having fun with this. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little bit of that yellow, and I'm gonna grab some white, because I really just wanna get in there and get that window drawn. So the best way to do it is to make it as opaque as possible the first time. So we're gonna do a really light yellow color, like right here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yes, me? Oh, thank you. We miss you too, Lisa. We're so happy that you're following along. And you better be posting what you finished, because we want to see your project when you're done. All right, so I'm going to go in, and you see we just have a little tiny circle right here. And that's just what we're going to do. We're going to make one little cute little window. It's just going to be a little circle. I'm using that tiny brush, holding it like a pencil. Boom, Bob's your uncle, as Spencer would say, and it's good to go. Let that dry. All right, what do we need to move on to? Let's see. Eek? No, don't worry too much. So just as long as you make the circle small, let's see, let me show you. Mine's not perfect by any means either, and I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. That is not a perfect circle in any way, shape, or form. But I know I'm going to be able to outline it, and I'm going to be able to fix it up. So please don't worry too much, right? That's why I picked a project that's all outlined, because it will hide so much. Okay, so let's see, we're going to move on to, we don't have that much left. Let's move on to the road and the car. Okay, so remember that gray that we mixed up in the very beginning when we did our back? Don't worry, be happy, exactly. Now you're gonna make me sing that song, and no one wants to hear me sing, okay? All right, so we're gonna make our road, and it's gonna be that gray color. So if you remember how we did it, we took some white and we took some black. I'm gonna go back to my big brush, okay? Go back to my big brush, take some white. Remember, I only want to take a little tiny bit of black because it's so hard to take, to have to add more white to when something is way too dark. That's kind of a good gray. I don't know if you can see that. I like that. It's a little bit darker than the gray we started with, but I'm digging it. So I think we're going to go with that. All right. So if you look on the original, let's see, do I need to scooch it? Nope, I think we're good. Okay. So in order to keep with perspective, right, it's going to be smaller the further away, and it's going to get wider. But it's also curved. So it's going to be a curved line and another kind of curved line, but it's going to get wider as we go. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Don't worry too much. It's kind of hard to mess up, so I think it's going to be okay. We're going to want to start it right around where this bush ends. Okay, let's see. Actually, we'll do it right here. Now I need to pick this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. And we'll go over here to this side. There we go. Okay. We just really want to make sure it's wider on the bottom. That's the most important thing. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're just going to fill it in with gray. Just make sure you stop where the water starts, okay? All right, good enough. How we doing? Everybody doing all right? I think I'm actually gonna curve this out a little bit more. There we go. There we go. All right. So we'll let that dry a little bit before we do the yellow. So let's move on to the car. So we're gonna want, you're gonna probably need more white, I'm gonna guess at this point. I know I need more white. I think I have enough black. So let me grab a little more white on my palette. All right. Okay. Now we're going to use our big brush again, but we're going to use it like we're drawing, okay? So if you want to think about this as like a big rectangle shape, that might be easier for you. we're gonna go in, we're gonna use our white, and we're gonna make this rectangle sort of shape. However, we want to make sure it does not touch the road because we're gonna have tires in between, and we want to make sure we're not driving a low rider, okay? So, and not in this picture anyways. So we want to make sure and leave some space. So we're gonna do, let's see. And that's good enough, I think, for right now, just so we can get the basic shape. And then half of it's going to be filled in and half of it's going to be left open. So let's make another line. Okay. Fill it in. Now that is our basic shape, okay? Now obviously we're going to want to round some edges and things like that, right? And we're probably going to need another coat of white because we want it to be a little more opaque than that. So now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to clean up my edges a little bit and round them. And I'm just going to trace over what I did, except for I'm going to round. When I do the corners, I'm just going to turn my brush and round it out. Just like that, okay? All right, let's see. There we go. Okay, now we need a bumper on our vehicle. So we're gonna take some white and mix it with a little bit of black, but you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna blow dry it really quickly. So let's blow dry our car. Good enough. Now at this point, you might think before you want to move on, you might think, oh, that's still a little too transparent for me. You might want to go over it. Go right ahead. That's a lot better. That's much more opaque. All right, much better, much better. All right, so now, so we can do the bumper, we're gonna add take some white, a little tiny bit of black. We're gonna make some gray. If you still have some gray left from when we did the road, you can use that too, but my paint dried out, so. All right. So if you look at this, it's very similar to just a really long rectangle, right? For the most part, I think that's what it is. Now, if you want to get a little fancy with it, it looks like it's almost like a little bit of a smile. It goes down a little bit in the middle. If you want to get fancy with it, give it a shot. If you're worried that it's not going to turn out, just make it a big, long rectangle, and I promise you this is still going to look like a car, okay? So And if you are really worried about doing this part with the big brush, go ahead and grab your little brush. Not a problem at all, okay? All right, so I'm happy enough with my bumper. It's not perfect, but we'll keep moving on. All right, so we want these little bits of wheel underneath, right? I'm gonna rinse my brush out and squeeze all that excess water out of it. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of black and I'm just gonna fill in what would be the tires. It's not gonna be really round at all because it's just kind of the area that would be the tire, right? And I'm holding my brush like a pen. Again, if you're worried about this part, go ahead and grab your smaller brush. Up to you. I got one tire and another tire. And I'm not going to worry too much about how my tires look because I know I'm going to be able to go over it with my Sharpie and fix anything up that's not exactly perfect. All right. Got that. We need some seats, and those are just like a dark gray color. So I'm going to keep that black on my brush, scoop up a little bit of gray, and just make a dark gray color. So I had a black on my brush. Driving to Alpena. Yes, because it says M32, right? And won't that take it to Alpena? I think so, maybe. I'm not usually the driver, I'm usually the co-pilot. All right, so I just have black on my brush, but I'm gonna go in, scoop up a little bit of that gray, and I've made a dark gray color. You don't have to be exact, okay? Let's see. And we're just gonna make the headrests of the seat, okay? And these are just kind of rectangles that have kind of rounded edges. I think 23? Is it 23? Maybe. Don't quote me. All right. If you're really worried about this and you want to use the small brush, go right ahead. You're just going to load up with that dark gray color on your little brush, and you're just going to make those rounded rectangle shapes, okay? Let's see. I'm going to put a little bit of water on my brush just to make sure it flows. And there's one. And two. And then I'm just going to fill it all in with that gray. Fill that whole headrest in with that gray. And that's all we have to worry about as far as seats go in this vehicle. Apparently this is just a two-seater. Must be nice. I don't know anything about that life. I don't know about you guys, but I always got kids, teens, young adults in the vehicle with me. All right. Good enough. All right, so now we just want to do the tops of their heads. And this is really just a light brown half circle. And then for her hair, it's a kind of blonde colored half circle, but then we just added a little more to make it look like the wind was going through her hair. Let me pull that a little closer so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So sort of a half circle, but then we added a little bit to the side to make it look like her hair is blowing through, or the wind is blowing through her hair, excuse me. All right, so we're gonna take, let's see, I'm not even gonna wash my brush, I'm just going for it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of brown and a little bit of white. And let's see, maybe I'll take a little bit of yellow. That's good enough for me. All right. I'm still gonna use my little brush, okay? Add a little bit of water to it so it'll flow. And I'm just gonna make that little half circle for the top of his head. And then fill it in. There we go, got that. Now, for her hair, I guess she's blonde, so I'm actually just gonna add more yellow and white to what I already made, and that's gonna be good enough for me. So I'm gonna add a bunch more white, a little more yellow. All right, that's kind of a dirty blonde color, but it's okay. Maybe she's in between hair appointments. It's all good. So I'm gonna go right in and I'm gonna do another half circle for the top of her head, just like I did for the other. Well, like, I guess that could be a lady or a gentleman, someone with short hair, right, on the other side. Half circle. Fill it in. Now the difference here is we're going to have some wispy hair coming out of the side to make it look like it's wind blown. Okay? And then we're just going to draw some lines connecting it to her hair. You can see that. So we have some windswept hair going on. Hi, Al. Thank you. Cool. Thank you. We're trying to get everybody excited to drive up north. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited. I can't wait till I can get out of the house and go back up north again. Hit the highway. All right. So let's see. What do we need next on our vehicle? Oh, I suppose we need brake lights. I suppose we don't want our lovely little vehicle to create an accident. So we're just gonna go right in to our red. We're just gonna use straight red. And I have my little brush because I really don't think you're gonna wanna do this with the big one this time. Okay, and I'm just gonna roll it around in there. Now, if I wanna do a really tiny little point with my little liner brush, what I do is I just kind of roll it right in the paint. And so it gets a little teeny tiny point to it, if you can see that. Hopefully it's not too close. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go in and we're gonna make those brake lights. And those are just circles, okay? Again, they don't have to be perfect because we're going to outline them. Okay? Hi, Isaac. All right, good enough. What else do we need on our vehicle? We need a license plate. That's just a rectangle, and here I used green. You could really do any color you wanted. I think I will do, I'll do green. Why not? I want it to be a lighter green than what I have though, so, because I'm going to put a heart on there and I really want to be able to see it. So I'm going to do a light green for my license plate. If you are going to add the heart to your license plate, you're probably going to want to use a light color. Otherwise, I don't really think it matters what color you use. Okay, so again for this detail, I'm going to go in again with my small little brush. And I'm just going to do a little rectangle, and one side of it is going to be connecting to the bumper, okay? So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna try and center it as much as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect because this is a very stylized, very whimsical painting, right? All right. Oops. There you go. And I'm just going to fill it right in with more of my green. My dogs are down there barking. They don't want to be in the basement anymore. But I can't let them up because I have two big giant dogs, and especially when they come from the outside or if they come up from the basement, they are, what can I compare it to? If you've ever watched A Christmas Story and you know the Bumpus's dogs, that's how my big dogs act when they come in. They'd be knocking all my paintings and my paint and everything over, so they're down there barking, they're not happy, but they'll survive. They're just spoiled. All right. Yes, I love that. I love that we added that Sip and Swirls are a great intro to acrylic painting. So if you think, oh, I really love this, I'm really enjoying this, well, we also offer intro acrylic painting classes. We have an amazing instructor who does our intro acrylic. Her name is Sylvia Kuhn. If you want to see some of her work, look her up. She is absolutely amazing. We also offer intermediate acrylic painting with artist Sean Gallagher. He's also an amazing artist. He's also an art educator for public schools. And then we have an advanced acrylic painting class with artist Ruth Howell, and she is absolutely phenomenal too. So if you're having a great time and you think, I really like using acrylic paint, please check it out. Check it out on our website. We have some great instructors and we would love to have you. All right, so this is still wet, but I need to add my heart, so I'm gonna have to blow dry it really quickly. Let's get this handy dandy blow dryer. All right, good enough. So now for that heart, we're just gonna take some red and a little bit of white, and we're gonna make some pink. Little red, little white, and a little more white than that. There we go. Okay, so we're going to make pink, and I'm gonna roll it again like I showed you so I can get that nice little tip. Okay, roll it. And then I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna make a little tiny heart on the license plate. Now this could be a time where you might write a name or a last name, or, I mean, you could do an emoji. Honestly, you could do anything on this license plate, but I'm just gonna do a heart. So, and since it's so little, it's almost gonna be like a V. There we go. There's my cute little heart. Okay. Good, good, good. Oh, what else do we need? I think we just need the grass and the sign up here. So for that, now there's two ways you can go about this. Here, I'm gonna scooch this a little bit so you can see. Okay. So first of all, it says M32. You could very easily change it to like M22, because that's also a beautiful highway up north, right? You can change it to anything that's special to you. You can make it say 75 for that matter if you wanted. I mean, really, this would be a good chance to personalize it. I just have it say M32 though. Or what was the one you said, Vale, that goes to Alpena? I don't remember. You were from that area. You would know. I'd trust you over me. So anyways, but to break this down into shapes, right? Like I told you, I always have to break stuff down into shapes. That's just how my brain works. This is gonna be a little square up here, and then a really long, really thin rectangle. That's really all it is. US 23, yes. I knew you would know. All right. So that's really all it is. And then the black inside is actually, it's just another square inside of it. So this might look a little difficult, but it's really not. I just want to say, if you're really that concerned and you want it to look very perfect, grab an old piece of cardboard or a piece of paper or something and use the edge of it like a straight edge, and you can very easily do that. If you happen to have a ruler laying around, you could do that. I actually do because I've been doing homework all day, but or you can just freestyle and go for it. It's just a square, so it's not going to be the hardest thing in the world to make. If you're just going to freestyle, I suggest maybe just starting with the liner and then filling it in. So even though it's black, it's because it's been outlined. So we're going to start with a white square, and then we're going to do a black square inside of it, okay? So I'm going to clean off my liner, get all that excess water out, and then I'm just going to go in with my white, just white, and I'm going to make a square. I am adding a little water to my white just because I really want it to kind of flow. And I'm going to I'm rolling my brush in my white so I can get that little tip just like I showed you, okay? All right, so we want it to be approximately, doesn't have to be perfect, approximately here. We want it to end approximately here. All right. All right, and since I'm a weird lefty, I'm sorry, I gotta rotate this for a minute, guys. All right, but that's a good enough square for me, so I'm just gonna fill it right in because I'm happy with that square. I don't think it needs to be perfect. I think this is a very whimsical piece. A lot of these lines are very organic. So I don't think that if the lines are, you know, completely straight, I don't think that's going to take away from the overall design of this piece. All right. Fill that in with some white. Now, before I move on to the black, I am going to want to make sure I blow dry this first. Some of the finest art instructors in the area. Well, thank you, Al. We so appreciate that. Yes, they are all working artists. I should have mentioned that. You're absolutely right. Sylvia, Ruth, Sean are all working artists. They all work in many different media outside of teaching. We're just so lucky that we have them teaching for us. But if you're interested, I encourage you all to just look them up. Sylvia Kuhn, Sean Gallagher, and Ruth Howell. Look them up, look up their work. It's absolutely gorgeous. And while you're at it, if you want to look up Al Masig's work too, it's pretty darn gorgeous too. All right, so we're gonna blow dry this square really quickly because we don't want that to get messed up at all. Good enough. All right, so now we're simply going to do the same exact thing we just did, but smaller on the inside, and it's going to be with black, okay? So you're gonna use the same exact brush. You're gonna load it up with just black paint. You're gonna roll it so you get that little fine tip, okay? We're gonna do it the same exact way. We just want it to be smaller so it sits inside like it does over here in the example. All right. Oops. Get a little more black in here. All right, and I'm gonna rotate it so I can get out of the way here so you guys can actually see me work. If it's easier for you to also rotate your canvas, please feel free. Hopefully Jim Perkins isn't watching because he would probably beat me if he saw me doing this, but we're just doing it for fun though. All right. And I'm especially doing this so I'm not in your way. I don't have my big head in the way while you guys are trying to see what I'm doing. All right. All right, let's fill that in. All right, we got a square inside of a square. And that's exactly what we need. But to move on, we really should blow dry this. So let's grab our blow dryer again. So now we got to do that diamond shape in the inside with white. So I'm still using my liner brush, okay? I'm gonna go in with some white. And what I'm gonna do to do this is I'm gonna put, let's see, I'm gonna put a dot here. And let's see, a little dot here. All right. And then I'm going to just make my lines from, my lines from one dot to the other. Now again, if you are really concerned and you really want this to be straight, like on the example, find something to use as a straight edge, a ruler, cardboard, paper, whatever you would like. All right. Ooh, darn it. There we go. Ooh, I got it in time. All right. Mine moved because I'm trying to be able to show you what I'm doing, even though there's a lip on my easel. Okay. That's what I get for moving it around, I guess. All right, so I got my little diamond shape. And I'm just gonna fill it in with my white. All right, so I got my little diamond shape. Now, let's see, I will let that dry and we'll move on to the rectangle, which is just gray. So we're gonna go in with some black and white, like we did with our bumper, and we're gonna make that pole. I'm gonna load up with some gray, and I'm gonna roll my brush right in there, remember, like I showed you, so we can get that little point. All right, now let's see, you could just go for it. You could, if you're really worried, if you have another small brush, you could kind of use that as a kind of guide if you want. I mean, or you just go for it, but let's see, you could do this. You could, if you're really, really worried that it's not gonna be straight, just find something straight and use it as a guide. Easy peasy, see? And then if you have anything to touch up, you obviously can do that. Let's see, down here, it looks like I might need to touch it up a little bit. Oh, and let's see. Grab a little white and fix that. That's an easy fix though. And I might as well go over this while I have some white on my brush. Good enough. All right. So we got our sign going. Let's see. We need some leaves down at the bottom. I'm still gonna use this liner, but we're gonna make some green. So you're gonna need a little green paint, a little yellow, and a little white if you don't have it on there. So let's see. Yellow, get some green. And I have white, so I think that's good. All right, still using my liner. Take a little green, take a little white. And I think I will take a little yellow. All right. And then I'm gonna roll my brush again, get that point. Maybe even take a little water. I might even put a little water just because I want to make sure this flows. Okay, and then if you can see, let's see, on this example, you know what, I'll grab it so you can see what I'm talking about. On this example, see right down here in the bottom, how it almost looks like, I don't know, maybe tiger lilies or something. So we have really long, thin leaves. And how we're gonna do that is we're just going to brush straight lines down to the bottom. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And these run all the way down. Oh, you know what I did? I stopped this right here and that was not correct. Well, I guess even teachers mess up, darn it. All right, let me grab some more gray really quickly. All right, let me grab some more gray. And I'll grab that brush again so I can fix it very quickly. Oops, okay. we go. Cleaned it up a little bit. Hopefully you won't be quite as messy with yours as I am with mine. But you know what? I'm gonna cover that up with some leaves from that green that I just made, and we won't even notice it. How about that? I'm just gonna make more leaves on the spot, right? We're gonna go with it. All right, so I got my green loaded up again, rolling it so I can get that point. And then I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna start making some leaves. And I wanna go all the way down to the bottom of the canvas. Let me try and hold this so you can see what I'm talking about. Just like that, okay? And then I'm gonna do another one. We'll have this one go over here. That. We'll have one over here, and this one will get a little wider. There we go. All right, and for that little leaf in the front, we're gonna add a little white to what we've been using so it sticks out. So that same green, I'm adding a little white to it, rolling my liner brush right in it, and I'm gonna make one more little leaf. Right in front. All right. You know what, I think I might add another little light green leaf. I kind of like that. I like that light green color, so we'll do one more. All right, good enough. All right, now if you want, you can add the little tiger lily flower. Looks like we just use red and maybe a little tiny bit of white, so it's almost like a salmon kind of color. Okay, and I'm just rolling my brush right in that. And this is another one of those times where you would kind of use your brush as like a stamp instead of using it like a pencil. You're gonna kind of hold it like a stamp, and we'll make a stem. I don't know if you can see this. The stem was actually done with Sharpie, so we really just need to make the flower itself, and then we'll connect it. So for right now, it's gonna look like our flower is floating in space, but we'll fix it later when we outline. All right, so again, hold it kind of like a stamp, and you're just gonna make some leaf shapes, and I'm gonna do mine probably right about, I'll do mine here. There, good enough. I think that looks tiger lily-ish, so I think we're good. If you do want to make the center, you could always just add like the tiniest bit of black onto the kind of salmon-y color that you already have, and just do a little dark center. But I don't know that you really have to because of the type of flower it's supposed to be. All right. Let's see, moving on. Let's do you know what? The M32, I did it with a brush, and you could do it with a brush, but honestly, I think the easiest way to do that would be to wait to the end and do it with the Sharpie, especially if you're worried that maybe you don't have the steadiest hand with a little liner brush. So we're actually going to do it a little differently. We're gonna wait, we're gonna do it with the Sharpie. Okay, so we're gonna move on instead to, let's see. Let's do the little yellow lines on the road, okay? So that's just yellow and white mixed together. We're still using that liner. Grab a little yellow, a little bit of white. My white's kind of funky. I think I need new white. All right, and then again, I'm gonna roll it. Roll that liner brush so we have a little bit of a point when we use it. All right, got it loaded. All right, you're just gonna make some of those lines right down the middle. They are gonna get a little longer the closer you get to the bottom because it's gonna give the idea that the road's getting closer to you. And let's see, what's a good way to do this so you can actually see it? One, two, three. And that third line is going to come right off of the road, and that's fine. All right. Good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect because, again, we're going to go over it with the Sharpie, right? We're going to go around everything with the Sharpie, and it's going to help us clean stuff up. Okay. We got that. What are we missing? Let's see. Oh, we don't have a rear view mirror in our vehicle. So let's do that really quickly. That's going to be gray. So our black and white. And I don't think it really matters what shade of gray you do. Just make sure you use your liner, load it up, roll it in that gray. And then it's basically going to be a little dot and then a triangle. So try and center it as much as you can. Okay. And a rectangle. And then fill it in. We'll outline it in a little bit. Good enough. Let's see. I think that just leaves us with the little sign on the bottom. The Love Life Up North. Now, if I can bring that a little closer, I'll show you that I kind of made it look like wood. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that, but it's supposed to look like weathered wood, like maybe you would find on a sign up north. So you'll see notches in the wood. You'll see the lines aren't perfect, and that's intentional. So honestly, I think you could just go for it and just paint this because it's supposed to be weathered wood. I know this rectangle looks very, very perfect, and it's because I taped it off, but I really don't think you even need to do that. I think if you just make the rectangle shape, I think it's just going to add more to the idea that this is an old weathered sign. So I am not going to tape it off right now. I'm just going to go for it. So to start with, we gotta layer this to make it look old. So we're going to actually start with a darker brown color and go from there. Now, if you are worried, you can make the lines with the liner and then fill it in with the big brush. It's completely up to you. Let's see. Take some dark brown. Okay. And we're just gonna go for it. All right. We want it to, let's see. We want it to stop right about here, okay? And we want it to stop right about, we'll say about here. Okay. And, okay. So that kind of gives us a rough idea of where we want it to be. So now I'm just going to go in. I'm going to make that rectangle, and I'm really not going to take my time with it because, like I said, if it looks messy and it's only going to add to the idea that this is an old weathered piece of wood, okay? So I'm going to get my rectangle down, and then I'm just going to fill it in. Good enough. So I'm actually going to grab my bigger brush now, and I'm going to fill it in with that dark brown. All right, and see how my ends, I'm kind of overlapping with the edge of my brush, right? But I like it. I think it's gonna make it look like an old piece of wood. All right. Now I think I am gonna blow dry that and do one more coat because I really want that dark underneath. I'm gonna grab my blow dryer and dry it. Good enough. So let's see, what am I going to do now? Well, I think I'm going to lighten up that wood actually. So I'm going to take brown and a little tiny bit of yellow and white. And I'm going to make a little bit lighter brown. Not too light. I don't want to get too light with it just yet. You can see what I'm doing right there. That's about where I'm going with it right now, okay? And I'm going to go right over top of what I just painted. For this part, if you have brush strokes, that's actually just going to add to the look of the wood. So this would be a time where you wouldn't have to worry too much about brush strokes. All right, a little bit lighter. Let's see. I'm gonna go in actually and make it a little bit lighter too in some areas. Now I haven't cleaned my brush off at all, okay? But I am gonna go in and grab a little bit of yellow and white on my brush and just kind of mix the brown I already have on there with that, okay? Now what I'm gonna do when I go over top of this to make this kind of faux wood look is I'm not gonna just brush on like I was doing like this. I'm gonna hold my brush at an angle like this, and I'm just gonna kind of make some lines. And see, so it's definitely not perfect, see? But it's gonna kind of lend to the idea that this is wood, this is old wood. All right. Cool, cool, cool. I think it's starting to look like a piece of wood. I'm pretty happy with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off my big brush and I'm going to move back to my little tiny liner brush. Okay, so I want this to actually look like there's planks like I did in the original one. So I'm going to get a little bit of water on my liner brush and some black paint. And I'm going to add a good amount of water to it. It's pretty watery. Okay. And that's how I'm going to make the separations and make it look like planks. I'm going to make some horizontal lines going all the way across. Now, these don't have to be perfect, again. You want them just mostly horizontal. All right, there's one. Load up on more of that really watered down black paint, and I'm going to do another plank. Just like that. Now, does anybody have any questions at all? If you do, please let me know. I know this is where it starts to get a little tricky. Okay. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. The other thing you can do if you want, if you really want to try and make it look old, is add little notches, right? And those are just little half circles that you would add here and there. You can make notches. You might not want to. You might think, that's more than I want to do, and that's fine too. All right. And then the other thing you could do if you wanted to is take more of that watered down black if you really want to. You could do a little more pattern in the wood to make it look more distressed, like more lines. And these are just really light. And if there's parts of it that I don't cover, I don't think it really matters because this is supposed to be distressed wood. And that's a little dark, but we can always fix that. I'm pretty happy with that. If you want, you can. Thanks, Al. I appreciate it. If you want, you can take it up a notch and take a little watered down white and add just a little bit of highlight, doing the same thing, making those lights. Excuse me, those lines, I'm sorry. The same exact way I kind of added the darker lines. You could go in and add some light, some highlight. Up to you. Maybe you feel like it doesn't need it. That's fine too. But if you keep those lines thin, then they just look like they're part of this old deteriorating sign. Okay? So that's just kind of the basics of making that old wood. So for well, you know what? Let's blow dry that, and we'll move on to that last part. Okay, I think this is dry enough. Whoops, ooh, there it goes. Okay, I think this is dry enough. Let's see. Now, to do the words, I know that is commonly, when we do sip and swirls, that's commonly the part that most people are worried about. They're like, oh, I have bad handwriting, or I'm just not steady enough with a paintbrush to write words. That's completely fine, and I totally understand. Now, we did try and make these, I did try when I painted these letters, to try and take advantage of the fact that I was using that liner brush. So they're really pretty simple looking letters. It's just supposed to look like letters that are carved into the wood, right? Something that you could do if you were really, really worried about it is, well, one, if you had a paint marker, that would work great. You could go in with paint marker first, but you could also go in with your Sharpie or a pencil or anything like that, and just kind of write it on over top first, just to kind of get the layout for the words. If you're very, very worried about it, I don't know. I think it's supposed to look kind of messy, like somebody just carved away at it. So I'm just gonna go for it with my liner brush. Now, because it's supposed to look like it's carved into wood, it's a very light brown color. I don't know if you could see that from there. But you're just gonna go in, with your white, and you're gonna go in with a little bit of brown. Let's see. My brown's drying out, my poor brown. Okay. We need more white than that. Here we go. All right, I think that's pretty, maybe a little more. That's pretty close though. All right, so again, we're gonna water this down because we really want that to flow, and we're gonna, remember that trick I taught you where you're gonna roll your brush to get that point? You're gonna do that, okay? So, let's see. We're gonna go in, and you're just gonna start writing out your words. Now, if you're really worried, let's see. You could always kind of start in the middle and kind of think like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 15 letters, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roundabouts here, this would be right in the middle, right? So you could even start with the word life, or the word up, so you knew you were giving yourself enough room. You don't have to do it all in one if you're worried you're not going to have enough room. Let's see. I'm just going to go for it. Hopefully I have enough room. All right, see, mine doesn't look perfect, and it's supposed to look like somebody's carved into a tree. So I think if it's not perfect, it just kind of lends to that look, okay? Now the life is in cursive. If you don't want to do that, you could just keep writing it regular. Or you can go in. Do a little cursive. All right. We got it. We got our words. If you need to touch up anything, I think I had a little bit too much water here. This would be your time to go over it. Fix any of that stuff. All right. Otherwise, I think it is good enough. Okay. So we're gonna blow dry that really quickly. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can get fancy with it. You could outline, if you can see here, it's the light wood color is kind of outlined with dark. You could do that, or you could honestly even outline that with like a fine tip Sharpie. If you have one of those really fine tip Sharpies, that would work really well. Just because, I mean, I did it with paint, but a lot of people get really worried when they have to do writing with paint. And that's fine, that's completely understandable, especially if you don't paint a lot. It's absolutely understandable. So we're gonna blow dry this really quickly, and then I'm gonna kind of give you the basics of outlining it, and then we'll wrap it up. Good enough. All right, does anybody have any questions on the painting part really quickly before we move on? Doesn't look like it. All right, good, good, good. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you really quickly just kind of the idea of outlining it, and then I'm just gonna let you do it. So basically, if you look at the original, everything is outlined. It helps kind of go with that, the look, you know, it's kind of the whole look we have on the entire painting, very whimsical, almost a little cartoony. So it kind of lends to it, but I love to do that because then it hides any mistakes you might make. So you're really just basically gonna take your time and outline everything. If your outline isn't perfect, that's okay also. If you look up at the sun, that line is not completely the same width the entire way. Again, it lends to the design, the overall design. So let's go for it. Let's start outlining. I just have a plain old black Sharpie, okay? And you're just gonna go for it. You're gonna start, I would start at the top and work your way down. And just start outlining things. So let's see, we got our tree here. You wanna outline? The only thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your painting is completely dry, because if it's not, you will ruin your Sharpie, okay? So if there's something that you're not sure, just err on the side of caution and blow dry it, okay? Now don't forget when you outline that little circle for your window, I put a little cross in it to show that it's a window. I'm going to outline my house. Now when I outline my roof, I'm going to start with this side first. And then I'm going to do a line from here straight across, because that kind of gives the idea of dimension. So I don't do that very much, but that's just one little area where I kind of made a decision to kind of try and show the idea of dimension there. So see how I did that? Made the line straight from the top. All right. So I think you can kind of see from there the look I'm going for by outlining, right? So I'm going to let you guys, don't forget you want to use your Sharpie to write your M32 or your M22 or, yes, it is the fun part, Val, I agree. Like I could just sit here and go crazy over Sharpie it, I think. What did you say, M23? You could make this M23, you could make it any highway you want up north. You're going to want to keep outlining. Make sure you write with your Sharpie, your M, whatever it is supposed to be, M22, M32. Mine's a little messy, but we can always fix it up after. Okay. Just make sure you outline everything. If you look at the original, M72 to Traverse City, is that what it is? For some reason I was thinking 22. Well, you can tell I am the co-pilot and not the pilot when we drive up north, huh? Okay, but if you look, you'll see literally everything on here is outlined. And then don't forget to use your Sharpie to make the stem of the flower. And I think that's just about it. So I'm gonna let you continue to outline while I get my area cleaned up, since I'm doing this in my dining room. But I just really wanted to take a minute to tell everyone thank you so much for joining me today to do this virtual sip and swirl. We've never done anything like this before, but I had so much fun doing this that who knows, maybe we'll do another one next week, because I really enjoyed myself. And I really hope that you enjoyed 72 and 31. Thank you, Al. I knew someone would know. But I really hope you guys had a good time with this. And once we get back in the studio, if you would like to book your own sip and swirl party, we would love to have you. We have some amazing sip and swirl instructors. Misty and Sue, what up? Anyways, yeah, so enjoy your evening. Enjoy finishing doing your outlines. And I hope we'll see you again really soon. Thanks a lot, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.